Welcome to Learning and Manual Testing. So today we are going to learn about entry questions in manual testing. So up to last classes we learned up to methods, right? So what is the last question? What is meant by gray box method? So now we are going to start the type. Okay, types of what are the types of what are the types of testing techniques? So we have different types of different testing techniques. The first technique is nothing but equivalence partitioning. Equivalence partitioning. The second one is boundary value analysis. Okay. Third one is decision table. The fourth one is orthogonal array. So these are the techniques we have in testing. Okay. The next question will be now 48th question. What will be equivalence partitioning? What is meant by equivalence partitioning? So nothing but see here partitioning, nothing but dividing the segments. So I have a range where I need to divide the values. So with this we call it as partitions. So let's consider I have 1 to 1 lakh of records to check. So how can I check? I can't check all 1 lakh records, right? So I need to partition the values. First of all, I will check 1, and next I will check with 200. Next I will check with 10,000. Next I will check with 20,000. Next I will check with the 33,442. Up to my wish. So I will divide this 1 to 1 lakh values into a it can be equal or not equal parts. So I will going to divide into parts. Those parts can be equal or not equal with the conditions. So 1 to 1 lakh, right? Sometimes I will enter 2 lakhs also, but 2 lakhs is also invalid. So 1 to 1 lakh, right? I can enter more than 1 lakh as of now, right? So I can enter less than 1 also. So like that I can enter any values so that I have to check whether with valid and invalid conditions whether the given condition is true or right, true or wrong. So that's nothing but equivalence partitioning. So testing, that nothing but test technique that divides the input or output of data into partitions. We call it as equivalence partitioning. Okay, technique technique that divides technique that divides the input or something output also to check into partitions. Those partitions can be equal, not equal. Divided into partitions of data to write test cases. We call it as equivalence partitioning. The next one is what? The next one, boundary value analysis. What is meant by boundary value analysis? So you see here boundaries, right? Nothing but for a given value or a given segment of the condition, I will check at the minimum and maximum only. I won't focus on other conditions. But whereas in equal partitioning, I will check the middle conditions also. But whereas in boundary value analysis, I will check only the minimum and maximum conditions only. I will only focus on minimum and maximum values only. So focuses on values on the edges of a condition at the smallest value on either either side of edges. So this is nothing but boundary values. Okay. Uh, 50th question. Now, what is meant by right? Decision table. See, here I'm going to take the decision table. So, depending upon the user conditions, I will take decisions as per the combination. So, what are the combinations I take? I will take the decisions. So, let's take an example. I have to check Gmail username and password. Okay. In order to check my Gmail username and password, I have the conditions, right? What are the decisions? First one, I will enter both valid condition. Later one, I will enter one valid and invalid condition. The later I will enter both invalid conditions. So here I am taking a decisions as per the user conditions. User has given a condition, right? With only two valid conditions only, I can log into the application. If anything is invalid, I can't log into the application. So this is, see, here it is not dealing with the values. Something like minimum and maximum values, right? In equal partition boundary value analysis, it deals with the minimum, maximum, or middle values. But whereas in decision table, we have combinations like, okay, we'll take combinations with these two combinations whether I could able to log into the application or not. So it's just an example, but in real time we have a number of examples like this. So nothing but a decision table technique is a good way to deal with different combinations of input. That's it. A decision table is a is a way to deal with different combinations, different combinations of inputs, which which gives corresponding. So this is one decision table. Okay. The next question will be, now we'll move into the defects, right? So defect management. What is meant by defect? How can I say whether it is a defect? A defect is nothing but what I'm expecting is not a. If in any application, if I see what I'm expecting is not seen, which means the result which deviates from expectations. We call it as a defect. So in defect, we have different categories. Okay, what are the categories? Categories of defect. So we have two types of categories. First one is priority. The second one is severity. The next one is what is meant by priority. So priority is nothing but see priority. So let's consider I have CA and I'm doing a task. So depending on priority, I will do the things, right? Same like, which means I need to do the initial part first. Okay. So like that, if I found any defect, I need to prioritize the defect, which means I need to do the defect as soon as possible. I need to fix the defect as soon as possible. We'll call it as priority. The defect has to be fixed as soon as possible. We'll call it as priority defect. The 54th is what is meant by severity. Say severe, which is nothing but something like we'll use severe, right? Severe headache, fever. Something we are showing the problem in our system. So, and also it will show the degree of problem, degree of impact on your body, right? So I'm like, so severity is nothing but the defect which shows degree of impact on the application. We'll call it as priority defect. This we call it as severity defect. So and also we have different types categories types of defects, right? First one is what is meant by latent defect. See here, latent defect, which means a defect which is there in the application, but okay, if a defect which is there in the application, what I can write longer period, but identifies no, which means a defect is there in the application for longer period of time. Meaning it's present for last 2 or 3 years, but it identifies now. So those type of defect will categorize into latent defect. So I found a defect, but if this defect is already exists in the application from last 2 or 3 years. The defect is not found as of now, but right now I have identified the defect. Then the defect we call it as latent defect. Next one is what is meant by mask defect. Mask means hiding something, right? Which means a defect hides another defect. We call it as a mask defect. Now, 57th question will be what is the very important difference between regression and retesting? This is very important in three point of view. So I will write the differences here. First, okay, retesting versus regression. Anything will make sense. So regression means so it starts after retesting. So what means retesting first of all? Okay, I read what means retesting here. Then I will go to regression. What is meant by retesting? So retesting is nothing but checking the failed defect, which means whenever developers gives fix for a failed defect, QA team has to retest it. Is to recheck. Let's call it as to recheck whether the defect is fixed or not. So this is called as retesting. So whenever I found a failed test case, then only I will do retesting. But whereas in regression, we'll take only on past test cases. So I think I have given everything information in tutorials. But go to that tutorial. But here I am writing the points only. But for more information, go to the regression or the retesting tutorial. Okay, on regression. Regression is nothing but it starts after retesting. Okay, then here it starts before regression. And that's the second point. It it is not carried carried out on defect fixes, whereas it carries on defect fixes only. Okay. Automation is the key to the regression. Automation is a feasible one. That automation preferred will not as, but whereas here may or may not. Okay, but maximum manual testing is preferred here. Um, Automation can't be preferred, and it contains multiple test cases are passed. But whereas here it contains only one test case which is failed. It contains test case which is failed, which was failed. Okay. So here defect, we are in retesting, we are going to verify the defect, right? So defect verification will comes here, no defect verification. So come to the priority wise, which one is priority? Regression or retesting? So I can give point, right? Or can be okay. Priority will be retesting only. So priority, more priority than regression. More priority because we have any defect, right? Obvious, we need to check the whether the defect is correct or not. Wrong. We are right here. More priority than regression. But here it is depending upon the resource availability. It depends on resources availability. These are the difference between regression and retesting. Okay, that's it for the day. Thank you.